I think we're live. We're live, everyone. Yes, we are. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, or actually new stream today. That is right. We are live on this beautiful November 27th, 2023. I hope everyone's having a phenomenal day, night, afternoon, midnight, wherever you are in the world. I'm certainly having a great day myself. And today we are doing a live discussion on the 2024 Republican Iowa caucuses, because in the past month or so, we have been seeing some significant movement away from DeSantis and towards Haley, and it's becoming a mess. It's becoming a cope around DeSimps. So we're doing a discussion about what's going on. Now, before we continue with today's stream, I hope you enjoy these type of streams. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you could join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. And like usual, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, whatever, or just want to support the channel even further, the best way is to send a super chat via, well, the chat. Again, all support's greatly appreciated. I'll try to read through chat, but if you just have a question you want for sure answered, send a super chat. I appreciate all support. And speaking of super chats, Real Texan Politics for 5. Race of the White House's delegate tracker now shows Rob in third place in Iowa behind Haley. So much for the Reynolds and Pastor endorsements. Yeah. My estimates have him at second, but barely. So, yeah. Iowa is the last stand for Ron DeSantis. And also, before I forget, one more thing. If you guys have a Twitter account, X account, whatever it is, share the stream on there. Let's get as many people watching as possible. Again, share the stream everywhere. Share with your friends. Share on your Twitter accounts, whatever. And, yeah, spread the stream. Sounds weird, I know. But, yeah, Iowa Caucus. This is the last stand of DeSantis. I made a video on this yesterday. But I want to do a full discussion with the chat on how we're looking in Iowa, how the delegates are looking math-wise. What's the math for it? I actually got some math right here. I got some numbers. So, should we start with what is the math in Iowa? Like, should we talk about the delegate stuff right off the bat? Okay, let's do that. Okay. So, Iowa. This is a state that, relatively speaking, doesn't have the most delegates. It only has 40 delegates statewide, which, yeah, it's bigger than Nevada and New Hampshire, but pales in comparison in California. With that being said, the DeSantis campaign, for whatever reason, decided we're going to focus the entire campaign on Iowa. Some of these other idiots like DeSantis, Haley, etc. Well, not necessarily Haley, but Mike Pence and Tim Scott. You know, they're banking their entire campaign on Iowa. Look up the history of Iowa in the primaries. It's not a predictive state. Iowa, historically, it usually goes to the person that doesn't win the nomination. Well, to be clear, if you win both Iowa and New Hampshire, you're in the runner's seat. You're going to win the nomination. But just because you win Iowa doesn't mean you're magically going to secretly win the nomination. Because Iowa and New Hampshire are polar opposites. And this is why I like the structure of the Republican primary. Because Iowa's far more conservative. It's far more evangelical, pro-life, more conservative, whatever. However, a lot of campaigns have been banking on, oh, Ron is a super conservative guy. But then when you get to New Hampshire, which is the polar opposite, more moderate, more libertarian, you know, more focused on, you know, taxes and stuff, you get blown the F out. And New Hampshire's far more predictive than Iowa. Because guess what? One, Iowa's a caucus. Do people not understand? Caucuses are not the same thing as primaries. Caucuses have far less turnout, because you had to physically show up, stand there for an hour, and leave. That is the Iowa Caucus in a nutshell. You physically stand there, you communicate who you're supporting, all of that. That's why turnout's not the best, and that's why it's never a good indicator. New Hampshire always has high turnout, especially for a primary. So with that being said, DeSantis is a complete and total dumbass for focusing on Iowa. Because it's getting so bad. I released a tweet on this. Let me actually pull this up to show you what I'm talking about. And again, this isn't my final prediction. We're not doing final predictions for a while, but just give you a perspective on how competent this campaign is. They put everything in the kitchen sink on Iowa. The dumbest thing you could have done. It never works. Look at this. Just basic delegate math. Current estimated vote share and delegate count for the New Hampshire primary, using polling data from RCP and allocating undecideds. Donald Trump with 49.3% of the vote. Nikki Haley, 20.17%. Christie, 12.19%. Ron DeSantis, 8%. 8.31%. Ramaswamy, 7.5%. Doug Burgum, 2.1%. And Ash Hutchinson at 0.3%. Look at this! Guys, for those that don't know, you need to get 10% of the vote in New Hampshire to get delegates. DeSantis isn't even qualifying for delegates. He is pulling closer to Ash Hutchinson than he is pulling to Nikki Haley, who's in second. Look at this! Trump is going to win 13 delegates as of now. Nikki Haley's going to win around 5. Christie, 3. You're losing delegates to Christie. What a wonderful campaign. You see my point? These maroons really think, we're going to bank everything on Iowa, but we're going to abandon New Hampshire, which they essentially did. And all that happened was Trump is getting the majority of delegates, Nikki Haley's getting a chunk, Christie's getting a decent amount, but DeSantis is getting nothing. 0. And remember, New Hampshire is far more predictive than Iowa. It's a primary, high turnout, represents the electorate better than Iowa. This is what I'm saying. This is a disaster. And the Iowa Caucus is their last Hail Mary. Why they focused on Iowa, I don't know. New Hampshire would have been far more efficient. I'm not saying abandon Iowa, but you should have poured a lot more into the state of New Hampshire. It's far more easier to win than Iowa. And win the nomination with it. So let's get into it. Negative mailers are overstuffing Iowa mailboxes. Attack ads are cluttering the airwaves. And door knockers are fanning out from Des Moines to Dubay and everywhere in between. The Iowa Caucus is the first contest in the Republican nominating calendar, are poised to play an especially consequential role in 2024. With only 49 days to go, Donald Trump's top rivals are running out of time to catch him as Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley thrash each other in the final sprint in the starting line. And that's the big problem for Haley and DeSantis. Trump's at 50%, 45, 50%. Guess what? That number's not going down. It's not budging. It's in fact been slowly going up. Hell, DeSantis is more focused on Nikki Haley and vice versa. That's the problem for DeSantis. That's his big problem. There's mathematically not enough votes remaining that are undecided to beat Trump. Now he's focusing everything on Nikki Haley. What does that tell you? I thought the Kim Reynolds endorsement was going to fully swing the election. I thought, Bob Vanderplaats, his endorsement would save everyone. It's not. Do these maroons understand it? They don't, clearly. They think we are going to win it. We are going to win Iowa because Kim Reynolds, despite her having the highest unfavorability of any governor according to Morning Consult, and the polling going down after the endorsement when the vast majority of voters knew about it. What am I supposed to say? It is a complete and total joke. I mean, how can you I don't get it. I just do not get how you can back somebody, how you could think this is some secret plan to give Trump or DeSantis the nomination. Rap, what's up? Hey, what's going on? Whoa. Did Sununu endorse somebody? I wonder if it's a joke, but apparently there's some people saying that Sununu just endorsed somebody. I don't know if that's real. Hello, Real American. Hello there, GOP Josh. So people are saying that Sununu just made an endorsement. I don't know if that's true. I'm not falling for it again. No, I'm not going to say a word on it. Unless somebody can verify how valid it is, it looks like it's fake. Not sure. It's fake news. Okay. I just had to make sure because frickin' people. I won't be shocked though if Chris Sununu made an endorsement, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's real. It's gonna happen though. Breaking news imminent. Yeah, we got breaking news eventually. Who knows? All right. Fake news. Yeah. Christie blamed Trump for the rise of anti-Semitism because, of course, he did. Of course. Christie blames anybody, blames only Orange Man for everything. All right. Far-headed national polls. Mr. Trump is aiming for an empathetic victory on January 15th in Iowa that could serve as an early knockout punch. He leads in public surveys in the state by twice as much as the biggest winning margin in a competitive contest in the last 50 years. Guys, that statement or paragraph should tell you everything. Trump is leading by twice as much as the biggest margin ever in any competitive Iowa caucus in 50 years. Sam Madsen for 2. There was a Christie town hall. Nope, didn't see it. But I mean, just look at this. And you're telling me this is a competitive primary? Listen. Here's my metric for how competitive a primary is. If the person in second is getting less than half of the vote that the person in first is getting, it's not competitive. That's what I'm trying to tell people. When you're down by not just, 20 points like Giuliani was up in 2008, but guess what? When Trump's closing at 50% and the closest person at 10, it's over. At that point in time, it is mathematically over. Everyone's not going to magically drop out. And even if they did, not every voter is going to back the same exact person. Some of them are going to flip to Trump. Is this some kind of conspiracy for some of these people that, I saw that yesterday. A DeSantis advisor said, and I kid you not, he said every poll in the history of polling is fake. Or no, just this year, because it's all a bad sample. That's what he said. He even said DeSantis' own pollster is fake. Even though the study said 60% of polls are right, he said none of them are. Think about that for a second. They think every single poll is fake. It doesn't exist, never happened. What am I supposed to say to that? And it's not just, the pretending to believe it. They actually believe all the polling is fake, including their own. They think there's some mystical data point from 1822 or something that shows Orange Man is going to lose. You can't make this up. Again, there are polling misses, but you're talking about a 30, 40, 50-point miss. Has there ever been more than a 15-point miss before? When there's been a bunch of polling. I'm not talking about when there's a poll in North Dakota 5 months before the election. That doesn't count. I'm talking about 1 to 2 months before an election. Has there ever been a 40, 50-point miss like this? Maybe Michigan. Back in 2016. There was some bad polling back then. Michigan primary. Let's see here. So yeah, back in 2016, there was Michigan. That's the only exception. I'll give them that. Michigan had a very big polling miss. That's the only state you could even remotely say, oh, there's a big polling miss. But never in Iowa. Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, relatively speaking, have accurate polling in the primaries. Not perfect, but usually they get it right. Usually. But they're talking about, well, it's one case. Okay, I found one. And that's in a state notorious for bad polling. Not Iowa. 7 points is bad, but not 50. Even then it wasn't 50. Yeah. And that was a statewide poll. There's like 2 of them. Rap, if Haley wins the nomination somehow, would you vote for her? No, I would not. Mr. DeSantis, the Florida governor, is betting Iowa to pierce Mr. Trump's growing aura of inevitability and to reassert himself as the main rival to short-circuit Mr. Trump's 3rd run for president. Actually 4th, but that's whatever. Mr. DeSantis, who won the back of the state's popular Republican governor. Oh, popular! Sure! Her popularity has sunk like 20 points since last year. Me for 2. Phil Scott endorsed Trump. I don't believe that. Has been barnstorming across all of Iowa's 99 counties, bolstered by an army of door knockers paid for by his related super PAC. Which, this 99 county thing, it's not that impressive. Ryan Binkley completed before DeSantis. Ryan Binkley, do you know who Ryan Binkley is? He did 99 events in Iowa, or 99 county events. Nobody's saying a word about that. And guess what? It only works if you're charismatic and liked. DeSantis is neither. That's why this is not going to work. And by the way, I love how it's the super PAC. Like, they're not even pretending anymore. Just, yeah, Never Stand Up is running the campaign, which is against federal law. Be prepared for the FEC to say, we've concluded that the Never Stand Up super PAC has been illegally coordinated with the DeSantis campaign, and we'll fine them $300 million. It's going to happen if he somehow got the nomination. I would rather win these anti-Trump blue states than what? I'm not going to read that. That's stupid. Rap, who's your support behind for governor of the Hoosier state? Braun. Mike Braun's our best shot. Caucuses is so stupid. Well, I like caucuses to a lesser extent of like... I think if you do them correctly, more like Virginia does them, I think it works better. Haley loses the coveted states in the Sand Belt. Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. On Saturday, DeSantis will visit his final county with an event in Newton held at the Thunderdome, a venue whose name appropriately captures the increasing acrimony and intensity of the race in the state. Mr. Trump will be in Cedar Rapids that same day. For much of the year, DeSantis' team has insisted the 2024 primary was a two-man race. But Miss Haley, the former UN ambassador, has ridden the momentum of her debate performances to transform it into a two-man plus one-woman contest. It's not a contest! Congratulations! You're down by 60 points. That's a contest, all right? A contest is if Trump is at like 40, DeSantis is at like 25, and Haley was at 25 or something. It's not that at all. Trump's at 60. And DeSantis is like 2 or 12. And Haley's like at 8 or whatever. Missouri governor will flip with Hawley on the ballot. Huh? New Mexico upheld the maps. I saw that. No, nobody should be surprised. The more people see of Haley, the more they like her, said Betsy Anke, Miss Haley's campaign manager. False. Hold on. Let me get 538 out. 538 polls. Because this should be a wake-up call for everybody. It should tell you everything about Nikki Haley's popularity. Nikki Haley, favorability. Okay, here we go. All right. Do Republicans have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Nikki Haley? At the start of the year, Haley was at 46.6% favorability and 11% favorable. And remember, these are Republicans. These are the ones paying the most attention. Right now, her favorability is 47.4% and 23% unfavorable. Her unfavorability has doubled, while favorability has stayed the exact same. So no, she's not getting more popular. All she's doing is getting the never Trump DeSantis people. That's not a surge. Congratulations. Her net favorability has imploded. Me for 2. Ron Disaster is going to win, guys. Just watch it. Real text and politics for 5. What do you think Ron's big announcement is for the Newton rally? Does Ernst endorse him? Does he pick Reynolds as his running mate? Something else? I think the House delegation endorses him. The 4 Republicans. But yeah, how can people say Haley's become more well-liked? That is statistically false. Even among old voters. Look at this. Which I don't know. You should look at Republicans more because they're paying attention more to the race. Just look at this. I just don't get how people can deny this. That she is not that liked. Compare that with, let's just say, Donald Trump. His unfavorability and favorability haven't moved that much. Unfavorability, 17% at the start, 20% now. These are just some petty DeSantis people that hate Trump because why not? We'll just look at Ron DeSantis. Start of the year, 14% unfavorable. Unfavorability of 22% now. Favorable at 61%. So funny enough, DeSantis has actually become more well-liked than Haley within the Republican Party. But sure, everybody, secretly, Nikki Haley is surging in popularity. Just because she went up in polling doesn't mean more people like her. It just means assholes like Pence dropped out. And they're going to her now. That's what's happening here. That's all that happened. This is an artificial surge by Haley. It's not going to turn into any real momentum. It's just, wow, you're getting the never Trump people on your side. Congratulations, you're just screwing over Christie. But what am I supposed to say? These people really believe that, oh, we're going to secretly win the Iowa Caucus because Trump's abandoned the state. Which is absurd. Trump hasn't abandoned frickin' New Hampshire or Iowa. He's done plenty of events. It's just a cope by DeSims that are just mad that Haley is about to overtake DeSantis. That's all that's happening here. All right. Now Miss Haley, who wore a t-shirt emblazoned with the words underestimate me, that'll be fun, to the Iowa State Fair, is seeking to snuff out Mr. DeSantis at the very start. If she could best Mr. DeSantis in Iowa, his strongest early state, her team believes Haley would be positioned to emerge as a singular Trump alternative when the calendar turns to two friendly terrains. New Hampshire, where she has pulled in second place, and her home state, South Carolina, where she served as governor. Which, okay, let's just go to freaking New Hampshire polling right now. Yeah. Trump's at 45% or close to it. You're at 19%. Yeah, you're going up. But guess what? You're nowhere near Trump right now. You're still down, what is it, 26 points? You're less than half of his support. That's not competitive. Until you reach 30%, there's no point of talking about it. Chance of mania for 2. If we nominate Christie, we'll win McDonald's land by 50. Yeah. But hell, let's go to South Carolina. Let's go see her state. Oh, yeah. She is polling roughly the same in New Hampshire as in South Carolina. And Trump's actually doing better in South Carolina. And guess what? If Trump really wins Iowa by 30 or whatever, well, let's look at this. Yeah, he's up by 27. If he really wins this Iowa by that much, he is going to gain momentum. And that's what these idiots don't understand. Not every DeSantis voter is going to flip to Haley. Definitely not Ramaswamy voters. Maybe Christie people. Actually, Christie people, yeah. Doug Berger, maybe 50-50. You're not going to magically gain momentum this quickly if Trump's winning every state by so much. How do you feel if someone made Trump into a Napoleon-like emperor for America? If we somehow did. Good idea, but I think I don't know if that's a good idea. Alright. Revealingly, Miss Haley's allied super PAC has spent $3.5 million on ads and other expenditures attacking DeSantis in the last 2 months in Iowa and New Hampshire, according to federal records, but not a dollar explicitly opposing Mr. Trump, despite his dominant overall lead. And that's the problem. There's not enough voters in Iowa. Look at this. If you combine every single DeSantis, Haley, and Ramaswamy voter, and let's just throw in Christie, why not? Trump still has like a 2-point lead. That is the problem with this secret plan to focus on DeSantis or focus on Haley. There is a way to beat Trump, which it's just common sense when you think about it, but this is not the way. Jacko Max for 2. Trump VP vid before end of the year, McMaster, South Carolina. I want to do one, but I think it's going to be... That's a tough one. But I don't know yet. Personally, I think Trump has been campaigning too much in Iowa. I think he should shift to general. Well, he's slowly doing that. People make it sound like he's done nothing. Like he's done absolutely nothing since, the start of the year. But he's done like 20 events in Iowa, which is not a lot compared to DeSantis. It's little. Funny enough. But he's still doing events in Iowa. They're making it sound like Trump's just abandoned the state. Mr. Trump's team has gleefully greeted the battling. James Blair, National Field Director for Mr. Trump, said Miss Haley and Mr. DeSantis are trying to bludgeon themselves with the title of first loser. The biggest win in Iowa ever is 12 points, so anything above that is setting a record, Mr. Blair added, arguing that even an upset in Iowa would only prove a blip given the former president's superior organization across the rest states of the calendar. Another big thing. Trump is dominant everywhere. So if you somehow pull some magic BS out of Iowa, like screw Ben Carson over, Trump is up by so much in the rest of the country. It's like, even if you get every single anti-Trump vote in Iowa, that still might not be enough. Iowa always plays a critical role in narrowing a presidential primary field, but this year could determine whether there's much of a contest at all. The Trump campaign has told supporters that it has booked its first significant television ads to begin in Iowa on December 1st. And Ramaswamy, the entrepreneur, has pledged to spend millions in the final weeks, even as the standing has slid since the summer. Almost everybody's pushing the chips in the middle of the table in Iowa, said David Kochel, Republican strategist with years of experience in the state. Only Christie's bypassing Iowa, which I hate to admit this, I think that's smart for Christie. I mean, if you're going to skip a state, it's Iowa. You don't get, again, you don't gain much. I don't like to say it. I'm just saying, like, Iowa's the one state where if you were to skip one of the early states, it would be Iowa. New Hampshire's far more predictive. It's far easier to surge in the state than Iowa is. Benson X for 2. Will Trump over/underperform his polling in Iowa? To be determined. Do you think Trump may outperform the polls in a state like Iowa because working class voters, aka his base, are being undersampled? I would laugh my ass off if the polling was wrong, but it was like a 20-point shift in favor of Trump. I really hope that there's like some 20-point shift that actually helps Trump out. I really hope that's what happens, because that would be absolutely perfect. If Trump like outperforms everyone's expectations by 20. Big F you to certain people. Alright, let's just get back into it. Super chat. Chance of mania for 5. Unironically, Republicans nominate Christie. It would be worse than 2008. Dems would 235 plus in the House and probably flip Indiana, Florida, Mississippi, and Texas Senate seats. I wouldn't go that far in Indiana, Mississippi, but I agree with the rest. As the candidates vie for votes, their strategists and spin meisters are seeking any possible advantage in the unseen but critical contest of expectation setting. Those who surprise or surpass where they are expected to finish typically emerge with the most momentum and money. If he doesn't win Iowa, Ron DeSantis has no rationale to move on. Which is true. His entire campaign, then Rich Baris made a really good point. You never promise more than you can give. Politically. You can never say, we're going to win Iowa by 70 points. Trump has given up on the state. You know, it's not going to work. Because guess what? You better win the state by a lot. Because if you don't, when you guarantee to everybody that we're going to win this state by so much, and you get crushed in it, well, you're done. Let's see here. Tucker's 2 on the right side. Well, I don't know if Tucker's going to actually be the nominee. I still don't believe that. The Haley campaign has announced plans to spend $10 million on TV, radio, and digital ads in Iowa and New Hampshire. The DeSantis campaign has announced plans to spend $2 million on TV ads in Iowa. Oh boy. Only $2 million. And when this is your Hail Mary? Hold on. $2 million versus $10 million. When this is your final stand in the state, and your entire political future, you're focused on $2 million? What? That doesn't make much sense to me. Republicans would flip Virginia, Maine, and Washington Senate seats if Christie was a nominee. Oh, bull crap. On the trail, Mr. DeSantis has been saying in increasingly blunt terms that Mr. Trump would lose in a rematch against Biden. Bullshit. RCP has Trump pulling his highest vote share ever, surpassing his 2020 numbers. Hell, he's doing like 4 or 5 points better with his vote share. Margin-wise, it's historical what's happened with Trump. He's up by like 3-4 points nationally. He's pulling at 47-48%. He never did that. He was always 42-43%. The DeSantis Super PAC has spent 10 times more money criticizing Haley ads and other expenditures than against Mr. Trump. But in private, Mr. DeSantis and his wife, Cassie, have expressed disapproval of those ads, according to 2 people familiar with their remarks. Several DeSantis allies recently created a new entity to explore fresh avenues of attack on Miss Haley, but the decision has caused more turmoil on the team, with the chief executive abruptly resigning last week. Never stand up, everybody. I mean, what does that tell you? Just fire these people then. What? Why do you gotta keep them if they're known losers? Why are you still here? Why? These assholes in frickin' Jeff Rowe, who destroyed so many other campaigns, should not be anywhere near this campaign. If they're so mad about it, fire him. You have all the influence in the world, or in your campaign. And you can attack Haley for so many things. But some of these attack ads, I agree. What the hell are they doing? Like, I'm going to pull one up. Just to show you guys what we're dealing with here. DeSantis for president. Haley attack ad. Never back down. I gotta find it. Let's see here. I can't find it, but there's some bad ones. Like, some of these polls, not polls, some of these ads are just right out of 2002 or something. The American people aren't that stupid. What? Trump is guilty of fraud. Who did he defraud? Tell me, who did Trump fraud in that case? The fraud. The banks got their money. So, who got screwed? I'm still waiting for that. And that's still a big question. It's like, there's nobody got defrauded here. And that's the whole thing. It's like, if there's nobody defrauded, you don't got a case. So it's like, what do you got? Who did defraud? I'm waiting. Not the banks. They're not involved in this. Taxpayer. Oh, good lord. Oh, bull crap. So wait a minute. This is the genius of some of these people. Somehow Trump overvalued his property. But somehow that hurts the taxpayer? What? That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. He overvalued his property, which theoretically should mean more property taxes. Somehow he defrauded the people, the taxpayer. That absolutely makes 0 sense. And that proves my point that these idiots that say he defrauded somebody. Unbelievable. Oh yes, he defrauded everybody by purposely inflating his property values. So that screwed the taxpayer somehow. Some of these people. Whatever. These people are not too intelligent, I can already tell. Bruh. Let's see here. Hey, Rap, will the favorable trends in southern Texas expand to counties like San Diego, Santa Clara, Los Angeles, and others? Also, Charleston elected their first Republican mayor since 1877. Yeah, I saw that. So, I think there will be some trends of Hispanics towards Republicans. It's just a matter of how much it is. So... Trump will easily lose Texas in the primary in general. He lost to Ted Cruz. Because Ted Cruz is from the state. There's no comparison to, oh, secretly there's plans that Ted Cruz is going to enter the race. Maryland Dago for 2. Any hope in redistricting? What happened in New Mexico? No. But we just got to see. GOP candidate head in the Washington governor race. I'm not falling for it. Nope. Nope. I really do not believe the Washington stuff. I'm not falling for it again. I got screwed over last time. Nope. Biden is winning Alberta in the newest poll. Real. According to the separatists, Biden's winning 50 states. Yeah. I know the Republicans are rhino, but yeah. Let's see. Biden will win Kentucky like Bashir, or at least make it Razor. Oh my God. Do people actually believe this? Do people actually believe that Trump's going to lose Kentucky? Well, we're back to 2016 then. Who should replace Bill Johnson in Congress? Somebody that doesn't suck. That's all I will say. Dave Reichert has to be a liberal in order to win the Washington governorship. Yeah, he is. So if he does win, it's like, okay, yay, woohoo, that's fun. Why didn't Biden win? Why didn't Biden win in Kentucky in 2020 for Bashir won in 2019? Oh, but that's different. You know, it's COVID secretly helped Trump or something. That's how some people think, by the way. There's some people that actually think secretly Trump benefited from COVID. Oh, man. Let's see. Some people think RFK Jr. will become like Ross Perot in Kentucky like 1996. What? Is Rosendale running for Senate? I don't believe so. All right, back to the article. Enough reading, Chad. There's some idiots. I don't know what some of these people think that Trump secretly, you know, defrauded everybody by purposely paying more and purposely knew that his property values were inflated. It's like, that's not how that works, but whatever, you know. I mean, the moron in Kentucky, in New York, he is saying, oh, what was it? It was like, he claimed Mar-a-Lago was worth like $26 million, but there's houses worth like $1 billion right next to it. And it's like 1/100th of the property size. It's like, whatever. That's the entire case. That's why it's ridiculous. And you just look at it, it's like, nobody got defrauded. Everybody made their payments. Yeah, it's a scam. Everybody just simply coalesced on the stream to put up their final stand. Yeah. Occultist, meanwhile, you have Reagan and McCain shrines in your basement. Yeah. Yeah, they criticize you for not worshiping Reagan. It's like, yeah, sure about that. All right. There are 2 debates planned before the Iowa Caucus that could still adjust to the dynamics. Only the first on December 9th in Alabama has been announced. The second is planned for January in Iowa. Mr. Trump has said he won't participate in any debates, and his team has tried to pressure the RNC to cancel the rest. I really hope Trump shows up for the next one. There are some reports saying that he might attend it, which I think he should. Just to mock some of these people, because I want to see Trump go after Christie or Haley so bad. Like, you don't understand how much I freaking hate Nikki Haley. Which I'm not going to say. There's one word I can say that I'm not allowed to say in here. And it's not the one you're thinking. Maryland Dago for 5. Any updates for Republicans fighting for redistricting? No. Except New Mexico. We got slapped there. Of course. Democrat judges say a Democrat gerrymander isn't illegal? Wow. Yeah, so I would call Nikki Haley a you-know-what. Because she is. The way she acts, it's like, oh, I'm the true conservative, and yeah. Yeah, it starts with a C. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to finish it, but yeah. And she would start World War III. That's why nobody should back her. Just unironically, she would start some shit with China right away. Or Iran. You might attend just to have it on voters' minds right before the vote. That's true. The other wild card is a much discussed door-knocking operation of Never Back Down. The pro-DeSantis super PAC, aka his campaign, that said it had 26 paid political staff members in the state and thousands of volunteers. Holy crap! The group says it knocked down almost 677,000 doors to date, including 3 times on every targeted home. Oh, good lord. If it hasn't worked already, it's not gonna magically, secretly change now. If this was a one-time thing and like, okay, now we're knocking on their doors 2 to 3 times, fine. But to say that you've already knocked on their doors 3 times and it hasn't done anything, what does that tell you? Hey, Rap, would you vote for Christie if someone became the nominee? No. Haley and Chris are the two that I will not vote for, no matter what. Jeff Rowe, the chief strategist for Never Back Down, has told people that he believes the group's door-knocking push could be worth as much as 10 percentage points at caucus. Bro, what? 10%? 10%. You're down by 27. 7. 27 points. A 10-point improvement. Which is bullshit. That's not going to happen. You're still needing 20 or 17 points. Oh, we're going to surge by 10 points. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So even according to them, it's over. You need to make up a 27-point gap, and you're going to go up 10% according to you. Oh, man. I just don't know. I just don't know, chat. This is unbelievable. Jeff Rowe for you. Secretly, a 10-point shift is in the works. If it hasn't happened already, it's not happening. How do these idiots not understand it? Even then, that's a third of what you need. The simps on Twitter are going to believe this. I'm just stunned. They actually believe a 10-point shift. Oh, man. How can people look at this and say this is serious? All right. DeSantis seems to have the best groundwork going out here, but it's nothing compared to what people in the past have done, said Andy Cable, a longtime Republican activist in Hardin County. Trump doesn't need the groundwork his people show up. Nikki has come on late, but I'm not sure she has the actual organization on the ground to actually do it. Trump's campaign officials said their operations already amassed 50,000 signed cards committing to caucuses for him, and 1,800 caucus captains for more than 1,600 precincts. The DeSantis campaign had 30,000. Yeah, I'm sure everybody that secretly this is gonna be fake or something. It's done. This campaign is over. And by the way, people talk about Kentucky. No, the Republicans essentially get to choose the nominee in Kentucky for the Senate. They get to choose 3 options, and Andy Beshear has to pick one of the 3. So Beshear technically picks, but the Republicans get to choose who those 3 are. So if Republicans could get more independent voters, they could actually win more governor's races. Yeah. Thought DeSantis Smith's chance in the primary and the general. I think she has a good shot at winning. She did really good considering the circumstance, and that seat is not looking good for Dems, if it holds. For Mr. DeSantis, the endorsement of Kim Reynolds, the state's Republican governor, has given him a jolt of energy, and she plans to campaign heavily for him through the caucuses, including next Saturday in Newton, Iowa. When was the endorsement? When was that? Sometime in November? Yeah, hasn't done anything. Polls overestimated McCrory in 2016, Style win like Cooper. And they overestimated Cooper in 2020. by like 8 points or something. Presley Dave Reichen has to be more moderate to win Washington governor. I still don't believe he's going to win it, but yeah, you have to be more moderate. Mr. DeSantis has also won the backing of Bob Vander Plaats, an influential, quote-unquote influential, evangelical leader in the state who has endorsed the last 3 Iowa Caucus winners in contested races. Cruz in 2016, Santorum in 2012, and Huckabee in 2008, all of whom lost the nomination. That final phrase should tell you everything. Even if DeSantis, by some ungodly miracle, wins, Bob Vander Plaats' endorsement doesn't mean squat for the rest of the primary. How can people just look at this and think that this is going to happen, that DeSantis can come back? He can't. At this point in time, it's basically over. But the thing is, they actually believe this. People actually believe on Twitter that DeSantis can make a 50-point comeback or something crazy, when their own people admit we can shift it by 10 points. You're down by 30, according to polling. So where's the other 20% coming from? Nowhere. They're full of crap. They are going to get absolutely walloped next month. It really doesn't matter who wins Iowa, New Hampshire. It comes on a Super Tuesday. Well, guess what? Trump is going to win everything. Especially if he's winning Iowa, New Hampshire by a lot. Biden got destroyed Iowa, New Hampshire, and still won. Completely different circumstances. Completely. Back in 2020, Biden got the endorsement of every single person, and that's why he barely scratched by. Plus, Elizabeth Warren screwed over Bernie Sanders. That's what happened. And not only that, right? Here's what happened. Trump's up everywhere in every other state. Back in 2020, that wasn't the case for Sanders. He was maybe up a little bit. Trump is killing everybody everywhere. Maryland, Daguito for 2. I guess Republicans lost the House. Well, not necessarily, but we took an L in redistricting today in New Mexico. Trump will crash in RCP polling in just a matter of time. Sure. They've been saying this for how long now? It's not going to happen. DeSantis Haley ticket would burn to the ground because of DeSantis being incompetent and Haley being such a failure. This ticket would be crushed in all of the swing states. Yeah, they would. They would get crushed. At that point, they're going to lose, like, Ohio. That's how bad it would get. Rap, would you rather have Biden or Bernie for president? Oh, boy. I would say Bernie just because he actually, he's still there mentally. He's not good on the issues, really. There's some he used to be, but at least he's mentally there, mostly, compared to Biden. So you Sims were promised that DeSantis search for months. It hasn't happened. Oh, but Trump will go down just 2 more weeks. Yeah. It's totally happening this time around. It's totally going to happen the next month. You have less than, 5-6 weeks? If this doesn't change for 6 weeks, what's the next cope? He's going to surge by Iowa or January 15th. These polls have Trump winning 18-29. He's not winning. Why? Listen, there's a bunch of undecideds. That's why he's winning the 18-29 vote. But factually, he is doing better with that vote block. We saw this in 2020. He did. So it's like, I don't think Trump's going to win that block, but it's like, there's a lot of Democrats that they're not happy with Biden right now. But we saw the trend in 2020. Trump was doing better with younger voters. These polls have Trump winning blacks and Hispanics. That's bullcrap. Show me a poll that Trump's up with black voters. Hispanics, it's tied. Fine, I'll give you that. But even then, is that crazy after what we saw last year or 2020? Is that magically insane? When Biden's unfavorability with Hispanics is like 60% or something. For a Democrat, that is apocalyptic. That is awful. He's doing terrible with minorities. Biden is. He's unpopular with them. He's hated by everyone. No one's enthusiastic to vote for Biden. No one's here to... None of Biden's supporters, they're like, hell yeah, I'm going to vote for Joe next year. They're like, I'm going to vote for Joe. Yay. It's a cope to think that secretly that Trump is going to magically, lose these voters. It's like, I do think Trump's going to do better with younger and minority voters. Now, by how much? Don't know. They still vote 70-30 in Florida, even though they are not having a 40-point. That is factually false. That is 100% false in Florida. 2020 exit polls, CNN. That is false. Trump did not get 30% of Hispanics in Florida. Give me a break. I don't believe that. He got 46%. It is mathematically impossible for a Republican to get 30% of the vote, 30% of Latinos or Hispanics in Florida and win the state. It is mathematically impossible to do so. Like, look at this. He got 46%. I mean, that's just factual. Let's look at 20. Let's see how DeSantis did. All right, how he didn't win those voters. How do you think DeSantis won by 22 points or whatever it was? I wonder. Maybe it's because Hispanics are shifting to the right. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Wild Democrat has appeared. Okay, here we go. I got the other one. All right. Back in 2022, DeSantis got 60% of Latino/Hispanics. 58%, excuse me. Trump did in 2016. Shift left because of incumbency. Oh, bullshit. Oh, bull crap. That theory's been debunked so many times, it's not even funny. 2016 exit polls. Let's go to Florida. Trump got 35% of Latinos or Hispanics back in 2016 in the state of Florida. So not even your other example. He got 35% of them. Not 30. If he would have got 30% of them, he would have lost Florida. He got 35. Older conservative Hispanics are dying out in Florida. The younger ones are trending left. Okay. You really want to test that theory? You just want to test that theory there? Really? That is... How can people actually believe this? The fact that some people actually believe that secretly, only the older only some Hispanics are shifting right, it's not enough to overturn it. It's like the people on Twitter that think only Democrats shifting trends are real. Republican trends, they're fake. They're just a fluke. But either way, folks, I'm done listening. I'm done talking to that moron. It's unbelievable that secretly, only some Hispanics are shifting right, rest are shifting left. It's actually the opposite. Well, it depends on the circumstance, but yeah. Greg Abbott underperformed in a red wave from 2018 because 2018 he went against a no-name candidate. 2022 he went against Beto, who was more stronger. And plus you use frickin' Texas. It's what? Let's see how many Hispanics did Greg Abbott win. Let's just see. Let's just see what he did in Texas. Governor race. 2018. Greg Abbott got 42% of the vote with Hispanics. Okay? That's what I believe he got. 42%. 2022, he got 40%. So guess what? He did 2 points worse with Hispanic voters, despite the state shifting like 7 points to the left. Your entire point is unbelievable. Alright, you know, whatever. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video or whatever. Godspeed to all of you.